Well, good afternoon, YouTube. This is Chuck. It's Sunday, May 28th, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm coming to you from my back patio and figured I'd see if I can hold this together enough to to shoot a little video and tell you a little bit about my how my cancer surgery went. I think I'll start by talking about that old tree behind me, and that's a big old thing. I don't know how old he is for sure, but he was a big tree when I moved here, and I've been in this house almost 50 years. So I wouldn't guess that he's maybe 150 years old. But that's a male alligator juniper, and they're pretty common in this area. But he shades my back patio, and the light here is just about right for afternoon light's good for shooting videos. So I'm out here taking a little bit of a break and trying to see if I can hold it together enough to talk to you folks. So as you know, I've been dealing with prostate cancer now for over 2 years now, and it finally became time to go do something and to do something to take care of it. And so I did a lot of research and I did a lot of praying, and I talked to a lot of other people that I know that have had the same problem, and to make a decision as to what to do. And I should tell you that you all know that I'm a retired firefighter. I was in the business for over 40 years, and there's a package of cancers that us old firefighters get, and prostate cancer is one of them. Well, I also have had, over my life, I've had an issue with kidney stones, and so I go see a urologist once a year, and he takes a X-ray and does lab tests and everything to make sure my kidney stones are not flaring up, and there are certain things I can't drink, tea products for one, because that's what aggravates my kidney stones. So as a part of that, especially as I got older, he would start doing a PSA test every year, which a PSA test is a prostate-specific antibody test, for those of you that are not familiar with it. And they tell us old guys, it tells us if our prostate is flaring up, because the count will get elevated if indeed there's prostate cancer present. So over the years, he's been kind of watching mine, and it gradually started going up. And so it got to the point where he said we need to put it, need to make a decision on what to do. And so at that point, he said I could actively monitor it. And so we put it into active monitor mode. And active monitor mode means you go to the doctor every 3 months, and they do the lab tests, and then you go a biopsy every year. And so I had the biopsy, and it confirmed, yes, there was cancer there. But it was not significant where I had to make a decision that day as to what to do. And so the decision was made to monitor it for a year. So it stayed pretty steady for about a year, and there's another reason for that, and there's a Bigfoot connection there that I'll have to make a video about one of these days, but it's a little complicated to go into here. So what ended up happening is about January, I went back and I had my second biopsy, and it came out that, yes, the cancer is spreading. So my urologist said that it was time to make a decision as to what to do. So, as I said, I talked to a bunch of my friends that have had that done, and at various means. Some of them went to radiation, some of them had the prostate removed, and I finally came down and figured that the best decision for me was just to go ahead and get rid of the damn thing. And so on Wednesday, May 24th, I went ahead and went in and I had my prostate removed. And it's what they call a robotic Da Vinci method, which is they go into your abdomen with these little robot probe things, and the doctor sits about 10 feet away and operates like a little gaming console, and they take it all out robotically. And the only incision of any size is the one that's physically big enough to take the prostate out through. So in order to do that, they put you in a position that's called reverse Trendelenburg, and that's just a fancy word for saying you're on your back with your head down. And the reason why they do that is because they want to utilize gravity to hold your intestines and everything kind of out of the way, so they got room to work. And then they inflate your abdomen with carbon dioxide to give them a place so they can get in there and see. And they have a little camera and a little light and little nippers and all this kind of stuff, and they go in there and they surgically clip the prostate and get it ready to get it out of there. Well, as a part of doing that as well, they have to, what they call transect, which basically means cut in two, your ureter, or your urethra, excuse me. Your urethra, which is basically the tube that takes the pee from the bladder down to the end of the penis so that you can get rid of it. So then, of course, they got to sew that back together. So they put a catheter up there and they pull it up there and they sew it all together. And I'm sure it's pretty fine work. It's very close tolerances and, develops, the surgeon has a very steady hand. The surgery itself takes about 4.5 hours. And so it's not something they do in 10 minutes. It's a big deal. Well, in my case, they took me in last Wednesday. It was supposed to be at 8 o'clock, and they were a little delayed, so they didn't get me in there till about 8:30. About 4.5 hours later, the surgeon comes out and he tells my wife that the surgery went well and that she should be able to see me in about an hour, hour and a half. Well, while I was going through recovery, they gave me a package of antibiotics. And one of the antibiotics they gave me was one called clindamycin. Well, make a long story short, I had a pretty significant reaction to the clindamycin. I swelled up. I had what they call a histamine reaction. I swelled up. My face got puffy. My throat started closing up to the point where, obviously you can't breathe if your throat closes up. And they had to give me a whole bunch of Benadryl and some other steroids and stuff like that to break that. And so my poor wife, she's thinking she's going to see me in about an hour. Well, I guess I crashed on them, and it was like 4 hours later that they finally was able to figure I was stable enough to get me out of recovery room and take me up to the room. And so she'd been sitting up there for a long time, and I guess somebody thought that they were keeping her abreast of what was going on, and everybody thought somebody else was doing it, and she was sitting up there all by herself, getting more worried by the minute, and can't blame her for that. I guess we've been together for 30 years, and she's a little bit attached to me. I can't imagine why. But anyway, I was still, you can still see it in my face. My face is still puffy. My voice is still a little bit off, and part of that is because, of course, they intubated me for the surgery, and my throat's still a little irritated. But my body's gradually purging itself of all the garbage they put in there. And those of you watching my community page, I made the decision to try to go cold turkey on the painkillers and just tough it out. And part of the reason for that is most of them give you constipation real bad. And so you're better off if you can not deal with that. And so far I've been okay. They say it lets up after the 4th day, and I'm on the 4th day now. So what else is going on? Well, when they sew your urethra back together, of course, they have to leave that catheter in place for a while. And so normally it's 7 to 14 days. So I've got my little friend here laying on the floor next to me, and no, I don't think you need to see that. It's just a tube that goes up someplace you can well imagine and drains the urine. And I'm going down next Thursday, back down to the cancer clinic, and they're going to remove that. And then you're on light duty for about a month and a half, just to make sure that gets a chance to finish healing. Before you're not allowed to lift anything, you're not allowed to do anything strenuous. So, is it a big surgery? Yes, boys and girls, it's a big surgery. Did it knock the stuffings out of me? Yes, it did. Do I feel better? Well, they said after about 4 days the pain goes away, and my pain level's not real bad right now. It's like right now sitting here, I'm just fine, and if I get up and walk around, I'm just fine. The only thing I still have an issue with is sitting down and getting up. It still hurts. But every day's a little bit better. I'll be back out doing what I do here pretty quick, hopefully. But it'll be around 4th of July or so before I'll be off of light duty, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I got a ton of things I want to do and a ton of videos I want to make, and I need my adventure to continue, but that's where it's at right now. So just to bring you all up to date, yes, I had the surgery last Thursday, and I go down, or last Wednesday, excuse me, and I go down this coming Thursday and to have the tube removed. And then I'll be, it's just a case of waiting for it to finish healing up. My friend Wayne is taking flapjack for a few days, and I appreciate that because he gets a little rowdy once in a while. He likes to jump up on his dad every once in a while, and that's all I need him to do is snag onto the tube on that bag, and that could cause me 7 different kinds of problems. I don't need that, but I'm going to go over and get him Tuesday, and so then he'll be back home here where he belongs. But anyway, that's bringing you up to date as what's going on. Third take on this, the first and second take, I got to coughing, and so we'll. I think I got it on this one. I shot a video from here the other day, and it had a lot of road noise in the background that I didn't even realize it until I uploaded it. And that was because that was the last day of school, and all those vehicles you hear in the background were actually school buses running. Well, this is Sunday, of course, and school's out now, so don't have to worry about that. So I'm sure it's a lot quieter sitting out here. It's a delightful afternoon. It's probably high 70s temperature-wise, and I miss being outside. I miss walking. And so anyway, that's a report from this end. As I always tell you, be kind to each other, love each other. Take care of yourself as well. You're the most important person in your life. You don't have much if you don't have you. And we'll come back to you again on the next one. And hopefully it'll be a little more cheery subject rather than this kind of stuff. Getting old is kind of tough, but I guess it, what do they say? It beats a long sleep in a dark box. So we'll talk to you again real soon. And for right now, I'll just say peace out.